Inside Disc Golf.
Hello and welcome to Inside Disc Golf Podcast, episode 22. I'm Andrew Gum.
And I'm Viktor Tågestad. Finally, the season, the real season is about to start. Copenhagen Open just around the corner. In a few days, we are off on European Pro Tour.
Yeah, the much anticipated start of the European disc golf season is beginning this week, and super stoked for it. And we're going to talk a lot about it today here on this episode of Inside Disc Golf. Where should we begin?
I think we should begin talking a little bit about the first major of the year, Champions Cup, that we talked quite a bit about last episode, on episode 21.
Yep.
And we had some great European success there, right?
Incredible stuff there. Kristin Tattar taking down that, getting revenge from last year where she lost it on the final hole, and this year she didn't leave any doubts about who was the champion.
It was so what a crush. It was a complete masterclass. It was
dominant performance. Yeah. 14-stroke victory in the end. Nobody even close, really. In the end, Ons Scoggins, 14 strokes behind there. And then after that, it was, even further distance from the field. The round ratings were all right around 1,000. The lowest one was the final round at 990. First round, 1025. Second round, 1,008. Third round, 1,016. So that's some hot rounds.
It's even hard to have anything to say about it because it was just perfection. I think everyone who saw her saw how in control she was from the first throw till the last. And at no time we had any reason to be worried.
Never a doubt.
No.
Never a doubt. She was there to prove that she is the best player in the world, and she did that with certainty and in incredible style. Very impressive. $8,500. Nice paycheck. Another major, and that's a very cool trophy too.
Third major am I right? I think it might be. Should probably know this, but she definitely won Worlds, and she has won this one, and she won another one a few years ago. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
we have to double check that, but
I don't know how many it's been, but I know it won't be the last. So all I'm going to say is that she is just starting. Her legacy is, I think she's going to accumulate some serious prizes this season and beyond.
Could it be that she gets 3 more this year already?
I wouldn't bet against her.
No.
She's clearly going to be
the favorite on all 3 of them.
Yeah, if she can stay healthy, obviously coming off of that surgery on her elbow, which she's managed to recover from very well and very quickly. And just putting in world-class performances, some of the best FPO play of all time, I believe. I can't imagine anybody's, shooting those 10, 20 rated rounds that consistently.
Not that I can remember. Of course, I haven't been around disc golf for ages in that sense, but still, the way she's doing it, the confidence that she's showing, it's just magnificent, and I can't find words for it. It's a joy to watch her play.
Yeah, she's amazing, and it's another very impressive win for her. And congratulations to Kristin Tattar on that, and best of luck in the coming events.
And we had one more top 10 in the FPO, and that was Henna Blomros from Finland. Maybe she was hoping for a little bit more, but she has been a little bit up and down this season. Sometimes hasn't really. I think it was the putting for her that week that just didn't really worked 100%, and that's what you need to get on top on a major. So top 10 is pretty good, for sure, but she's obviously capable of doing better, and and I'm sure we will see better results in the future. Silva Saarinen qualified for the Monday qualifier, and I think she put in some pretty good rounds here and there. Yeah,
so it's cool to see that she's over there competing at those top events, and
solid game from her.
Yep. And I guess who else should we mention? I feel like Anneken did pretty well. It doesn't feel so fresh in my memory now. I guess I've been following the Jonesboro a little bit more closely this weekend.
But we had a few that played good. maybe not for 4 rounds, but at least like here and there. So Anniken has nothing to be ashamed of.
13th, tied for 13th, solid.
And Heidi was playing good for a while also, if I don't remember right. Heidi Laine.
Yeah, top 20. Took home $850.
You mentioned Silva Saarinen, finished 32nd, but showed some great class also. And then it was also Amanda Lennartsson, who played her first event in US, starting off with a major. It was her opening event of the season. Maybe didn't play her absolute best, but still quite okay for her level. So I
not too bad if you look at the ratings. A couple of 924s. Little bit of a dip there, round 3. Not her best round, but overall she played 3 out of 4 rounds above her rating and quite much above her rating. I think she did pretty well. She beat some known names there. It's a really stacked field at the Champions Cup, so you can't really expect to be up there near the top on your first try at it.
And I know that she was also very satisfied with her overall performance, and that is the most important thing. You're always competing against yourself, even though she finished a little bit lower on the leaderboard. It doesn't really matter because she played good.
Yeah, and great experience moving forward. You can always keep all that valuable experience with you as you move forward. And
oh yes,
I'm sure it won't be her last trip over to the States for those big events.
I would be surprised if it is. And then we have MPO. Let's talk about them. And Isaac Robinson, first of all, the winner.
Oh man, he put on a show, didn't he? That was impressive.
Almost as impressive as Kristin Tattar. Maybe not as big win, but still the same level of confidence all the way.
Wire to wire, right? Pretty hard to do that for a 4-round event. To come out with the lead and then to continue all the way through. In the 1060s, 1070 for round 3, 1074. Dropped a little bit off there in round 4, but he was just playing safe and comfortably for the win at that point. He was in the driver's seat. He just needed to play not to lose at that point, really, or just to not make any huge mistakes and just kind of walk it in.
That's exactly what he did.
Pretty rare at a major, to be in that position.
On a course like that also, when you know that things can go really, really wrong. Yeah. But it never did for him. It was so impressive.
Great victory for Isaac Robinson. Congratulations on his first major victory. The big story for the European front is Niklas Antila getting that tie for second.
Again.
Yeah, 2 in a row majors with the second place finish.
I think
it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and he played also very, very well on European Open last year. So he's
top 10,
Yeah, he's a major player, basically.
He's clearly focused in on those major titles, and it's obvious what it means to him. And he's just waiting to break through for that victory.
It's gonna come, and that's so clear.
Yeah, the reigning European champion and Finnish champion just about got his U.S. title last year, but was edged out by Gannon-Burr, and now right up there with a tie with Eagle McMahon for second. So. Also, Silas Schultz did some pretty amazing stuff, didn't he? He kind of broke out onto the superstardom there. Of course, a lot of people know he's a great player, but he hadn't really had any really top finishes, and he was in contention for the win really, throughout the event with some really streaky, incredible runs.
He definitely was. It was. It looked like he belonged up there, and it was the first time I saw him as a top contender, and I know that people have been talking about him being able to play on that level. So it was cool to see that he
great
finally did it,
prove himself, and show his potential. Also, really awesome to see Väinö Mäkelä in there in the top 10, tied for 7th with Gannon-Burr, Chris Clemens, Alden Scott.
Something really happened with Väinö after Seppo was here on Inside Disc Golf and talked him down a little bit. That was a flip for him because he has been playing out of his mind after that.
Yeah, he's been doing really well, putting in solid results. Basically every event over there, he's. I think maybe he started a little bit slower in the beginning of the tour, but now he's consistently right up there as one of the names that you have to consider for a victory.
And these Finns are also gaining some big popularity. Like they are getting on the practice rounds on Jomes. They are getting more and more feature card and lead cards. So of course people really start to respect them in a completely different ways.
And they've earned, I think they've earned that respect.
Yeah, of course.
They've really committed, and you can see how professional they are and how serious they are about being on tour and making this their job, and they're, setting some serious goals and working really hard to attain, and get to where they belong. But yeah, it's really cool to see them getting a lot of that attention they deserved. There was a nice little feature on Jomez about the touring team.
Somehow I feel almost a little bit proud. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I shouldn't maybe, but I do.
I think we're all really proud of those guys over there putting in, incredible performances and putting on show for a worldwide audience. It's it's great to see them doing their thing.
Let's also mention Joona Heininen, who played so great, finished 13th, tied together with Simon Lizotte and Anthony Barella. Really solid performance by him too, and he's just cemented up there.
Yeah, and he just had that 1 week round on round 3, the moving day there, where he shot under 1,000 rated round, but he bounced right back, 1073 rated on that final day. I think it was the hot round, if I remember right. It was tied for it at least. I think it was actually the hot round.
Very, very high at least. Also,
but he's been doing great stuff over there. He started out strong, and he's had some great finishes.
Yeah, it's the first time he's actually there touring, even though he's over 30 already, but having a late breakthrough on the international scene, and looks like he belongs there. Looks like he could have played there for years and years.
For sure. And I believe he will for years and years to come. Yeah, got himself $2,000 almost there. Nice cash prize. Niklas $7,200, so pretty good paycheck there. Vina $2,000 or nearly $3,000. So what else? So Simon Lizotte was tied with Joona for 13th place. So that's a pretty good result for him as well.
Many Europeans, they are everywhere, and one player what we were hoping to see in Champions Cup, Linus Karlsson, finally got his visa approved, and
great news.
I think that he's on his way over to US right now to play with the big boys there, and he could have finished top 10 easily on a course like this also. So
yeah, he's really confident in the woods as well, and incredibly talented player. It's a bummer that his season has had such a slow start or a delay in getting going, but it's great news that he's all legit with the legal paperwork and immigration status and stuff, so he can travel freely back and forth to compete and do his job there. That's great news, and I think we're going to be seeing some really bright and bold things from him once he gets it going over there.
He was very close at a few events late last year, so I would expect him to just continue playing like that.
Yeah, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with, for sure.
Are there any other players we should mention, or should we go on and talk a little bit about what's going on this weekend? We're recording this on Sunday evening, so Jonesboro is going on right now. And do we have any Europeans playing well there?
Evelina Salonen putting on 10 down. She's in the clubhouse now for the final day and putting herself all the way up into a tie for 4th place.
That's cool. She struggled at the beginning of this event. I think so, at least. I haven't watched too much of Jonesboro this weekend.
This is really, really promising statistic. Okay, she had an eagle there, from inside the circle, a ton of birdies, a couple bogeys, but the stat that I'm really happy to see on her UDisc profile here is 89% from C1X today.
We know that's all she needs, because she's a world-class thrower. She's maybe best in the world, and if she can just putt, then who's gonna beat her? I can't see anyone.
Really impressive scorecard there, and congratulations to Evelina Salonen, and really, really putting in a hot round today and getting herself up 10 spots on the day. So
it's not really over yet, but it seems like she will have a great finish, maybe top 5.
Yeah.
And then we have also Christine Tatar, of course. She has not played as good as she did last week.
Nope, not really up there in contention for the win this weekend. Might be a slight kind of major hangover, or
it's so weird that we say that she's slowing down when she's still finishing top 10, but we have high expectations on Christine, of course. And
well, it's just, it's, you get so accustomed to watching her win and win with such kind of dominant force and in such style that when you don't see her on the top, then you kind of start to worry. But that's, you can't win them all. And she's still there in the top 10, even after a couple double bogeys here late in the round. And also have Henna Blomroos and Heidi Laine in the top 10. So 4 Europeans in the top 10. Nobody in contention for the win, but still that's pretty solid performances. Great to see that Heidi and Henna getting themselves up into that top 10.
Yeah, it's nice to see that there are so many female players up there in the top. We're going to talk more about how many good players there are right now in Europe when we talk about Copenhagen in a few minutes. But I'm getting happy to see so many different flags also on the US tour. And
the European disc golf scene is really blossoming, and there's so many players that are really on their way up. A lot of really talented young players, including Silva Saarinen, who, as we mentioned, she got above the cash line.
Right above, yeah.
Yep, got herself right above, as well as Luke Lorentzen. Solid to see her up there making cash. And
then we have right under there Anniken Steen, who didn't have her best weekend, finishing 27th.
Just missing out on cash there. But
and then Katie, who hasn't really gotten on fire yet this year.
No, we know she has really, really great skills and potential. So I think once she finds her groove, we're going to see some pretty impressive results. But yeah, it hasn't been anything too spectacular yet. It seems like she's kind of been maybe just like in the bottom half for the most part of the tour, it seems.
Yeah,
like.
But that can change quickly. We know that. And finished 36th in Jonesboro most likely. And then if you look at the MPO, who do we have there of the Europeans? Maybe not as high finishing. No, of course, they haven't even started, most of them, the round 3 yet. So.
Yeah, this is for the MPO, there's only 2 rounds in the books, but there is not going to be any European champions at this event, so I think that's pretty safe to say. Vaino and Niklas both tied for 16th, but they're 8 strokes behind the lead, so I think that's pretty unlikely for them to catch up. But maybe if they put in a really hot score today, that they could kind of fight up into that top 5, maybe podium if it's something crazy, like what we saw with James Conrad putting that 17 down yesterday.
I wish I would have stayed up to watch that. It sounds like it was something crazy.
It was 17, a putting clinic. I think he hit everything except for one C2 miss was the only thing, and otherwise he was like just banging everything home. Yeah,
so second round at Jonesboro, James Conrad is finishing 17 down. That's a course record with 3 strokes, I believe. So
that's bonkers. Yeah, great to see the world champ in fine form there at Jonesboro. And even though we don't have any Europeans in contention, it'll be exciting to see who finishes on top, because there's lead cards all within 2 strokes. Kyle Klein's proven he can come from the chase card. He's leading the chase. He's only 3 strokes behind. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see how that all plays out. Hopefully some of those European flags can fight their way up into the top 10. Albert Tom doing pretty well. Simon Lizotte, everybody with a chance to kind of get themselves some pretty good payout.
And one other thing that just finished today was the first stop at the Swedish Disc Golf Pro Tour, Skåne Open. Let's talk a little bit about that. We saw I haven't seen it. I have seen the scores, but some of the players who finished well there, we're gonna see them in Copenhagen as well. So I think it's definitely worth mentioning. Yeah. Winner in MPO, Gustav Dahlén, and he won with 1 stroke ahead of Fritiof Fagergren, and Josef Berg 1 stroke behind him, tied with Jim Ljungqvist. Gustav and Fritiof gonna be in Copenhagen.
Cool.
Exciting. I haven't seen them at least play. Maybe I've seen Gustav at some point, but Fritiof is a new name for me, so it's going to be very exciting to see. And
they should have some momentum moving from. I think pretty good results there.
Just going over the bridge to Copenhagen. It's a short trip, so they are probably don't even need to warm up when they come to Copenhagen. Yeah, that's going to be exciting, and some. Other names, also well-known names, finished not as high as we thought. Henrik Hagman, for example, finished 22nd.
Okay.
Pelle Karlsson, maybe not one of the favorites, but brother to Linus Karlsson, 23rd. And then I have a few guys from my hometown in Härnösand, also not finishing super high, but I want to shout out the names anyway. Henrik Söderlind, we have Anton Lind, and we have Isak Andersson. But none of them finished that high. So let's go on to talk about a profile that we saw in Järva Open last year.
Yeah.
FPO, battling with Kristin Tattar. We are talking about Sofie Björlycke.
Yeah, she's got a new sponsor. She's
RPM discs.
Yeah, out of New Zealand, and she's a really, really great player. Been around quite a long time.
I think she's 5-time Swedish champion or something like that. She
Yeah.
beat the reigning Swedish champion, Hanna Jansson, with 6 strokes.
Wow.
Seems like she was in a class of her own. I'm not surprised because she's working hard. She's posting a lot of videos on her Instagram, and you can see that she is fired up for this season. And
Great to see. And
it's going to be very exciting to see her what she can do this year.
Yeah, and in Copenhagen this weekend is going to be another name to consider for a chance at the win there. There's a pretty stacked field.
Yeah. Let's not talk too much about the players in Copenhagen. We're going to come to that soon.
Yeah.
But you might understand what we're thinking about Sofie, that she might be one of the contenders.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's talk about Copenhagen. You just came back home from a trip?
Yeah. I just spent 2 days over there checking out Valbyparken in Copenhagen. Very, very beautiful city. Really fun place to be. Great bicycle lanes everywhere. Really easy to get around in the capital. And the course is a really awesome place. Really fun. There's 3 different tee pads for each hole on the normal layout. What we're going to see for the European Pro Tour layout is slightly different. A little bit variation. There's 3 new holes specifically. Well, actually 4, but the 3 beginning holes are all not part of the normal layout. Like when you go there.
So they are like temporary holes.
Yeah. For the event, and so you play around the Rose Garden and then come back, and then hole 4 is the normal hole 1 on the Valbyparken's normal layout. But it's I believe the busiest course in the world. I think it's the only one that they have in the city there, and
reachable by public transport and bike. Very easily.
Yeah, really easy to find. I got there with just 2 train stops from the airport in 30 or 40 minutes or something like this. So
sweet.
Pretty easy to find and very fun to play. A big park with lots of other sports facilities, complex. Like there's lots of things going on, and then you kind of find your way through the complex into a really, really beautiful disc golf course.
Yeah, and were you able to play the actual layout that we're going to see this weekend, or?
No, I didn't get to play those first 3 holes, but we played them anyway without the basket. They weren't.
You pretended like the baskets.
Yeah. But I got to play 3 full rounds on the normal layout from the long tees, and that was a ton of fun. It's pretty challenging, especially in the wind that we were dealing with. I thought it was really. I got there on Wednesday and played 2 rounds, and I thought, man, that was really windy. And then went back on Thursday, and it was like a whole another level of wind, like where it was like very, very difficult to make putts from even the bullseye region. So
we were talking about it a little bit before we started to record now, and I don't remember that we saw that much wind last year.
Yeah, I don't remember it being a big factor in the event last year either. It felt like the scoring was pretty high, and that we didn't see a lot of struggles as far as dealing with the wind. So maybe it was kind of lucky that they had good weather there. And I'm not really. I guess we'll check the forecast and see what we're expecting this week. But I can tell you that the locals told me it is often very windy there. That's quite the normal type of conditions that you expect, being a very low-lying, flat.
The whole country of Denmark is more or less completely flat, and of course a lot of wind because of that.
Yeah, quite exposed to the jet stream and really close to the sea. Even though you don't see the sea on the course, they told me it's really very nearby. And the thing about the wind is that it's shifting a lot. Okay, it's like somehow funneling through the geography and the woods there, and so some of the holes are getting really gusty winds, like where it's really hard to get a good read. And they told me they call it the tumble dryer. That's the name, the nickname for the course, the tumble dryer.
Yeah, okay.
Because the winds are so swirling and mixing, and
that's a fitting name then for a windy course, and maybe we will see some struggling.
Yeah, I guess it's going to depend on the wind and how much there is of it. But if it does pick up, that's definitely a factor. There's a lot of OB lines and some elevated baskets and some places where it can be pretty hard to control the disc if it is really windy. So we'll see how much the wind is a factor in the end. But
But it's a beautiful course. Have I understood right?
Fantastic course. And God wind, I believe, as the Danish say. Or is it God wind?
I'm not going to try. My Danish is just, I'm not going to embarrass myself.
But apparently, a very popular phrase with the Danes is to let the wind be with you. And I think that could be quite fitting if it is windy, that want it to be in your favor, that it's not shifting too heavily right before you release your disc. Or, it's pretty hard to make those adjustments when it's swirling that way. You're not getting a direct head or that it's changing. And sometimes it did feel really strange that it felt like we were throwing right into a headwind, and then we would be like coming back the other way with in a short, like only a few holes later, and the wind would again be in the head. Like it was like it had shifted 180 degrees. So I can understand why they call it the tumble dryer, that it's just, it's just kind of constantly changing, the winds and swirling and mixing a lot through the property. It's something to do with the shape of the land and how it I guess is near the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep an eye on. It's
but it is a park. It's a park. The course is in a park, but it's not the typical park course in that way, that it's only open and a few trees here and there, because some holes are really, really narrow gaps and very tight lines.
Yeah, there was some super tight gaps. Like I didn't realize, from the coverage last season, that some of those gaps were that tight, and you kind of like really have to hit them, or you can be in bogey town pretty quick, because they've incorporated the woods of the park very nicely into the course design. It makes it really fun. There's quite a few open holes, and that seems to be where the wind is the most ripping. But even on those wooded ones, sometimes you don't feel it. Like there'll be a gap, and then you throw out into the open, and you don't necessarily feel the wind, but then you can see the effect once you get it.
But would you say that the wind is going to be a factor even on those tight wooded holes?
I think so.
Okay,
I think so.
So you're not protected that well,
not
even
totally
though it's quite
sheltered,
tight,
even though it is really heavy woods. But if we're getting a little bit more foliage, there might be more protection from the leaves as they continue to grow. They're quite ahead of us as far as spring goes. It was lush green, lots of flowers, and very full on spring mode. Yeah. Even though it was actually chillier there than it was here from when I left, but that was just kind of by chance, I guess.
Yeah, here in southern Finland, we are happy to finally see some dry tea pads and maybe some green starting to sprout on the trees. And in a few weeks, we could maybe call it, I don't know, spring, or if we ever have that season here in Finland, I don't know.
I think it's just called late winter, isn't it?
and then summer for 2 weeks, and then we're back to the mud season.
But it's going to be a ton of fun over there at Valbo Park, and very historical place. It's they've been running big time events there for many, many years. They've had majors there. I believe it was 2013. I can't remember for sure, but there was a big major there. It's always very well attended. It's often been the first event of the European season, so it's cool that it's got that prestigious title still as the opening event for the.
I think it's the perfect opener.
Yeah,
I'm just very excited.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Should we mention those 3 keys that we were talking about?
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit loosely about them already. We call them keys to success, or keys to take down the win in Copenhagen. And I'll let you present them since you have been on the course. So key number 1, what would you say that is?
Yeah, let's see what's the best order. I think first and foremost, mind the gaps. Like you really got to hit the gaps there. And
we're not talking about the subway or the metro, or we're talking about the...
Yeah, we're talking about some of those really tight wooded holes where it's very imperative that you get clean off the tee, or you're gonna take some big numbers, or at least put yourself in a lot of stress trying to get up and down for those pars. So you want to hit the gaps and just if you can stay clean on the OB as well. It's kind of a 2-part point there, where just keeping it clean, I guess. On the holes that there isn't the gap, then there's usually OB, and so you want to stay safe. So basically just kind of hitting your lines, accuracy. Of course, it does require a lot of accuracy with the lines and with the landing zones.
So focus on the gaps. That might be a good thing for the practice rounds, and then just execute that during the 3 competition rounds.
Exactly.
Yeah. Key number 2.
Key number 2, and this might depend a little bit on the conditions, but let the wind be with you.
God wind.
Good wind.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, be careful out there in the tumble dryer. Manage the wind, take it into account, and just try to control your disc the best you can. If it's swirling a lot, then it's kind of tough to make a good read. But you just have to be disciplined with your disc choice, and you just have to be safe if the wind is raging.
Yeah.
And then the putting can be really difficult when it's because when it's not a steady read, it's pretty hard to know what's going to happen when you let go of even those short putts. Like on hole 18, the basket's elevated. On the second day, I've 4-putted, and they were all from within like 5 meters.
I can tell you, if Andy is 4-putting within 5 meters, then it's a difficult wind, because he's a very, very good putter.
It was a nightmare. Yeah. It was a nightmare because of the elevated basket, and there's just like, it's hard not to have the nose up, and the second the wind, catches that nose, and it just won't. And like even like 2 of them hit chains like solid, and they just kind of blew away. And so,
yeah, but it's interesting because wind was not a factor last year. It's not something that we thought about, at least. It didn't look like it was a problem with the wind. So,
yeah, hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it won't be a factor. But I had to include it because the 2 days I was there, the wind was a serious factor, and it seems to be part of the local culture in that way, that the course is nicknamed the tumble dryer, and that is a course doesn't get a nickname like that for no reason. The locals calling it the tumble dryer. The wind does swirl and it does mix, and it's quite a unique, that the way that the wind does that, how it changes so much within a short time there. So,
I have never been on the course, but I have been in Copenhagen. It has been windy more or less all the time. So it makes sense if that.
Yeah, I think it's just that it's so low lying, and it's so directly near the sea there with not too much to kind of obstruct a lot of that heavy breeze. And so that's kind of the key number 2, is to just let the wind be with you. Just try to survive out there, and do the best you can to deal with the wind if it is up as much as it can be.
And then key number 3.
Yeah, key number 3, I think, is to finish strong and in style on hole 18 there. Didn't look like much last year, but maybe that's because the wind was down. I was told there was a number of players that were well under par moving into that hole 18, and ended up taking double digits on that hole. Like there was 10s, 11s, 12s, and even higher numbers. That it can really compound pretty quickly with the tight OB. And with that elevated basket, there's basically OB all over the place on that hole. It's like a 300+ meter.
Yeah, I can tell you, hole 18, 327 meters, and it is basically consisting of 2 islands. You throw the first part of the fairway is one island, then you throw over OB to another island with OB all around it, of course. And par 5. I think we even saw. Did we see an eagle last year, or a few birdies?
I can't imagine that an eagle would be possible, because the first shot is a placement shot. You're not able to get more than about 100 meters off the tee. There's no real way to access that first island.
But birdies definitely.
Birdie. If the wind's down, and for these guys that throw super far, and I think even the FPO field could potentially get birdies if they really hit it. Hit it clean, and the wind's not a big factor, or if the wind is aiding somehow in some of those shots. But yeah, the first one's, it's actually 2 combined holes on the normal layout that makes up that hole. But it's a great finishing hole, tons of score separation. So I think it's one of the main keys to success is just to manage hole 18. It ain't over till it's over, till that disc is in the basket on hole 18, because you can be caught slipping there at the end pretty easily if you're not careful.
But I got surprised when you said that hole 18 might be a key, because it's not something that we were thinking about last year, that it's one of the more difficult holes. At least that's not how I remember it. So, but it might have to do with the wind, as you said. It was quite calm conditions last year, and might be very, very different if the wind picks up. So hole 18, stay focused all the way until the fat lady sings if you're gonna finish on the top.
That's right. Yeah, finish strong and in style. I'm sure there's gonna be a pretty good gallery there. People standing around watching. You're gonna want to, close the deal there at the end. We didn't last year. It wasn't really a tight race on either side. That it didn't come down to hole 18. But I have a feeling this year it might well. So I'm gonna put that as the third key to success, is just to finish strong on hole 18 and get your round in the books.
I hope you players are listening to this and learning from Andy, who has been on the course. I think those are very, very important keys, and they can help you to gain some great success in Copenhagen.
Yeah, now if the wind is down, then a couple of those keys might not be spot on point. But as far as I see it at this point, those are pretty legit keys. That if you can do those 3 things well, then you're going to be up there in contention for the win.
Yeah. And then you mentioned that last year it wasn't that kind of tight race, but we had 2 very solid winners instead. And let's mention them, because they're going to be there and they're going to try to defend their titles. We're talking about Daniel Davidsson, who started his season last year extremely strong, slowed down a little bit later in the season, but then finished very strong in the All-Stars event in Spain. But he looked just so good.
He went wire to wire, right? And I think he was a leader after day 1, and he just never looked back and just kind of continued to distance himself from the field steadily. And in that final round where it looked like he was dealing with some nerves, it didn't really cost him. He never bogeyed or anything, and he was still able to have a pretty stress-free victory.
Yeah. It was very impressive the way he started his season. And we can't say the same about the winner in FPO. A surprise for us, at least. We didn't know that much about her. We know much more about her now. We're talking about Rachel Turton.
Yeah, we saw the birth of a superstar there that day.
Definitely did.
And she went on to have an incredible season. But that was a dominant performance. She was it a double-digit win or 8 strokes?
I think it was 11 strokes or something.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I don't have it.
It wasn't close anyway. It was not close. I think also wire to wire, if I remember right, that she set the mark on the first day, I think, and then just continued to just plow away. And
she never looked nervous. She never struggled with anything. She just went on. And of course, Heidi Laine finishing second, she didn't have her best weekend then. And but I think that Rachel's so incredibly solid performance had something to do with that also. I think that Heidi came there and
thought she was going to take it down.
I think so. And we thought so as well.
Oh, she was certainly the favorite. Yeah, definitely coming in. She was the highest rated player and had the most success, I guess, in the past. Coming off of a good season where she took down some pretty big win or 2 at least, and had a lot of momentum. But she did perform really well the rest of the season and ended up taking down the overall European Pro Tour points title.
That's right.
Along with, on the MPO side, Mikael Hamme. And what do you think Mikael's chances are of getting his first big win?
Thought that I would say that he would be one of the favorites. But I know that he has struggled with injury.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. I think he is, anyway, playing. I think that he is in somewhat good shape. But I might be wrong now, but I think it was something with his abdomen or like some muscles around his.
Okay.
I can't find the words, but
stomach muscles.
Yeah, stomach muscles, and that could potentially be quite bad.
Okay.
But we don't know that much about Mikael Hämme, so we hope that he's fit for fight, and if he is, he's going to be a fierce contender for the win.
Yeah, and I think it's that kind of course that really suits his game. Of course, I think he got third place there last year, right?
He played really solid then, and especially the last round when he made a run. No, was that his brother who made a run on it?
No, that was him. Yeah,
that was him.
He was the only one really pushing, pushing, like putting a little bit of pressure on Daniel from the chase card, and he ended up fighting his way up onto the podium there, won the playoff for third, and that was a pretty impressive performance, especially on that final day. He seemed to finish strong in almost every event, if I remember right. That his final rounds were just on point.
So consistent.
Time and time again.
Yeah, he Mr. Consistent during the whole season, especially on European Pro Tour. So he's going to be one to look out for. And I know he has said he's clearly on the level that he could be contend with the best also in US, but he has said that he wants to stay in Europe because he has the possibility to do that now, because the competitions are getting better and better. The fields are getting better. The prize money is getting higher. So finally we have an option for the players to stay in Europe and play.
It's
here.
great.
Yeah.
It's great that they have that opportunity to compete more extensively in Europe and make a good living out of it. So yeah, good to hear that, and good luck. We'll keep an eye on that injury situation. Hopefully he'll be in good enough shape to put in a solid performance over there in Copenhagen this weekend.
But yeah, do we have any other exciting players? We have many, of course, but
lots of really exciting players to keep an eye on.
Should we do our thing where we pick out a few players, maybe?
Sure, let's do it.
Should we take 5 each in MPO and maybe 3 in FPO?
Okay.
What do you say about that? We can
good.
mention a few players, other players also, but I think it was fun when we did that before. So let's go on with that.
That's great. Let's do it.
I'm gonna let you take the first one.
Okay.
Let's start with MPO then.
MPO?
Sorry.
Okay.
MPO, yeah.
Okay, we'll start with MPO. My first pick might be a surprise for a lot of people, but I have a really good feeling about this player. He's very young, super talented. Got a new sponsor, Teemu Talikainen from Helsinki, Finland. Here, our local young superstar.
I'm not surprised, at least, because I saw what he did in Tampere.
That's
on
right.
the Prodigy Pro Tour last year.
He really peaked at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He really started putting it together. That was an amazing victory there with a really stacked field on beautiful course. And I got a good feeling that he's going to get this season started well. And just come out blazing. I'm gonna go with Teemu Talikainen.
Good
my first pick. Yeah,
I know that he just had a practice week in Spain.
Oh, nice.
Preparing for the season, so he's probably well prepared for Copenhagen Open. Okay, let me take a pick as well, and I'm also gonna go with a young Finn, the highest rated player in the field, one of the most exciting players, not only in Europe, but in the world. I'm talking about Niilo Hongisto.
Yeah, what an exceptional player. I mean,
what a guy. He is, is he, 17? Something like that?
I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
I know for sure he's a teenager.
Yeah.
I know for sure his PDGA number is 214251, which is by far the highest in the field and probably the highest you're ever going to see on a Pro Tour event.
For a few years.
This guy is just off to the races with his career. He's been in the top 10 every single event he's played and mostly towards the top. And these are big MPO events. This is no joke. This guy didn't work his way up through the ranks like most people do. He just came out straight to the top
out
level.
of nowhere. We had no idea who this guy was. Suddenly he was a contender for the win at the Finnish Championships. And if you are playing good in the Finnish Championships, you can play well anywhere in the world, in any event you could, and he proved that he hasn't slowed down. He just keeps on being great. So it's going to be very exciting to see if he can continue on that streak this year, and I wouldn't be surprised.
No, 1027 rated. He's the highest rated player in the field actually for this event, and I don't think that rating is inflated in any way. The consistency that we saw from him in Spain, at Turku, I know we haven't seen a lot of him yet, but everything that we've seen from him has been absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, so I feel like I would be stupid not
taking
him.
No, that's a great pick, and
I
I'm
know
really
that you would probably have taken him if I
sure,
didn't.
for sure.
Niilo Hongisto, very excited to have him as my number 1 pick. Who's your second pick?
Second pick, I'm going to have to go with the local legend, KJ Nybo.
Of course.
Yep, it's his, one of his home courses there, 10-14 rated, right up there near the top. He's got a ton of experience. He's learning a new bag, so not sure how well he's got that, but I figured out yet. But he was over Memorial and he did pretty well. I can't remember how he finished, but I think it was at least in the top 3 or 5 for the Masters. And yeah, I think being able to sleep in his own bed there and a place he's very very familiar with. I'm thinking I have to give KJ the nod here and just hoping he performs really well.
Yeah, we thought he was the favorite last year. I think that he was also, but he didn't really play his best. Maybe we'll see something else from him this year.
Yeah, hope so. I'm going to give him a pick anyway.
Great pick. Let's speed this up a little bit so this episode doesn't get too long. Okay. But my next pick, number 2, I'm going to go with an Estonian. I'm going to go with... sorry, now I lost for a second. Matias Vilota.
That's a great pick.
Yes, already a winner this season on the Baltic Tour. He's a young guy, also a great football or soccer player, scored a few goals in the Estonian highest league this year. And he is a guy to watch out for. He is up and coming. He's just getting better and better. I think this could potentially be a breakthrough win for him if he can take down this.
Yeah, super talented young athlete. Brilliant pick there. He's the 6th highest rated player in the field. So, no slouch at all. Currently there at 10-12 from Pärnu. And yeah, I like that pick. That's a good pick.
Matias Vilota from Estonia. Number 3 for Andy Gum.
I'm going to go with another local Dane, Hjalte Jensen. He's been doing pretty good work over there in the States, shot some super hot rounds. He does definitely have the ups and downs, but I have a feeling like he knows this course really, really well.
I would be surprised if he didn't.
Yeah. And I think he's gaining valuable experience at every one of these events, and he's super young still, but incredibly talented. He can throw it for miles, and he's got all the skills really. So I think this is going to be a chance for a pretty big breakout event for him if he can get up there near the top.
Yeah, and he has had some hot rounds also on the Disc Golf Pro Tour this year. If I don't.
Yeah, he's shot some fire. He hasn't been able to put together really a full event and get himself up and into the really really good payout. But he's had some pretty good results, and he's had some incredibly great rounds at least. So
crown prince of Danish disc golf, but he might have actually overtaken the throne already from KJ. This might be a
future king.
Yeah, we'll have to see who finishes at the top.
That's exciting.
Those two. They could be quite tight race between them.
I'm happy I have them both because it's an exciting storyline. I feel like at least one of them is gonna be up there in contention. So I'm gonna take them both, and then I got my got them covered on both ends there for the locals.
And then I'm gonna take my third pick, Hjalmar Fredriksson, of course, Swedish teenager. Yeah, he's 16 years old and one of the most unique players you will ever see. He is a lefty, but he throws forehand with his right hand.
That's cool.
That's very, very, very unique, and also doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I've actually met more than one player like that, and
never seen
nobody that good. But but like I think it has something. Did he play hockey, ice hockey?
That I don't know, but
because I feel like it's something to do with that slap shot thing. But I don't know for sure that you can throw potentially lefty backhand and righty forehand. That it's a similar motion with the hockey But I don't know. That's from the people that I have met in the past that had a hockey background and were able to do both those shots very, very effectively.
Yeah, but
anyway, it's cool that he can do that.
Teenager. I think he's turning 16 this year, if I'm not mistaken. He won on the Swedish Pro Tour last year at Järva. He has finished really well also on the European Pro Tour, or was it Euro Tour last year? Had some high, I don't remember exactly, but anyway, guy to watch out for.
I know you can see him on MDG's coverage of that Swedish Pro Tour event in Stockholm. I think it was the Stockholm Open or
Järva. In Stockholm.
Yeah.
But he's definitely future superstar.
Could
pick. Potentially also already this year be up in the absolute top. Everything I've seen from him, videos of during the off season, it just looks so clean. So Hjalmar Fredriksson.
Is he the top rated Swede?
Yeah, could potentially. No, maybe not absolute top, but I would bet that he would be just after Linus after this season.
Sure.
And we're running out of time, so let's take the two last picks in the MPO. Just mention them.
Sure. We don't have to go too deep into it, but I'm gonna go with. Well, I'll take Daniel Davidsson to defend the crown.
You stole my pick.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, of course you need to mention him.
Yeah. It's hard to, but maybe him and Silver Lat. Yeah,
they could definitely win, both of them.
Sure.
Both great forehand players also, and good picks. And I take my two last ones. Then I will take Rasmus Saukoriipi.
Oh yeah, he's
from Finland.
Finished the season really strong last year, and he's got a ton of potential. And that's a good pick too.
I also have a good feeling about Rasmus Tuominen.
Yep.
He played well in Copenhagen last year. He is not one of the highest rated players in the field, but he has been quite a bit on camera already. He looks very confident every time you see him play. So yeah, have a good feeling about him.
I'm sorry. Did I confuse Ville Ahokas and Mikael Häme about that third place? I am so sorry. Yeah, I don't know how that slipped my mind.
It was Ville Ahokas who won the playoff last year. Finished third.
I apologize for that. Both really great Finnish players in their own right, and I somehow confused them in that memory. But I just realized that now. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No worries. We have our 5 picks for the MPO, and let's take. At least 3 for the FPO, and now we have a little bit more time to talk about them also. And I'll let you take the first one.
Sure, I got to go first on the MPO.
Okay.
Let's let you go on the FPO.
Then after the win this weekend in Sweden, it's hard not to pick Sofie Björlycke.
You're definitely.
I have a feeling that
leaning towards the Swedes anyway.
Yeah, of course I do.
I'm not surprised, but I'm also she's right up there, 934 rated. As you said, seems like she's putting in a ton of work. She's got a lot of motivation for the season.
Extremely motivated, and I know that she was one player that was not picked to be part of the Finnish and Swedish training camps, and I know that she was very disappointed about that. And I think that was a trigger for her to really go out and, now I'm going to show them. And that might actually be the best possible thing for her to really prove that she can beat them all even without that extra help. And
could be a great source of motivation and a big boost for her.
So I think that we might see some fireworks from Sofie Björlycke. And we already saw what she can do matching Kristin Tatar last year in Järva.
Yeah, that was an amazing performance. She she wasn't able to really finish as strong as she would have wanted to, but she was in control the whole way coming down, and in that final back 9, she just faltered a little bit, and then you can't really slow down near the finish line if you have the number 1 player in the world on your tail. So
it's not the player you want to have behind you when you're chasing down a win.
But it was still a great performance there in her home country, and I think she earned a lot of respect for that performance, pushing...
Of course.
Pushing Kristin to the very end there and making it exciting, at that big, wonderful event, the Järva Open.
And she has a lot of experience. I have a good feeling about Sofie Björlycke.
it's going to be interesting. It's such a stacked field on the FPO side.
Not at all like last year. We only had 6 players then, and now
great,
we have
great to see a full field. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
who will you take?
I'm taking Rachel Turton without a doubt.
course.
I just she's proven herself. Every time basically she's a super athletic, really talented disc player, and she just seems to be getting better and better all the time. She's learning a lot from all these experiences, and she's committing now to disc golf. She's
fully,
she's ready to attack this season, and I think it's important that she gets off to a good start. And I think she's going to get off to just that, get herself on top of that podium. I think she's going to win.
Extremely professional. I could just as well have picked her, but I just wanted to defend my Swedish country men and women.
That was a test. That's why I gave you the number 1 pick. It was a test against your national loyalty versus your common sense.
No, I of course I have to be neutral when commentating, but right now I can pick Sophie over Rachel.
I don't think it's a bad pick at all. She's the 3rd highest rated player in the field, and it was just so amazing what Rachel did at this event last year, and then finished the season so impressive there in Spain with another dominant victory. So I just feel like she's got Heidi's number really for, not that Heidi doesn't have a chance here. Obviously she does. She's the highest rated player in the field, and she's had a ton of success too, but she's won the same amount of European Pro Tour events as Rachel. It just seems like Rachel has the competitive edge at this point between the two for me.
Feels a little bit like that, yes, but just because of that, I'm gonna pick Heidi Leine.
Make it interesting.
Yeah, well,
it's an obvious good pick too.
It's an obvious pick, and she's one of the clear favorites in the field. It's going to be extremely exciting to see how she handles the pressure this year compared to last year. She has also already started the season a few weeks ago in US and played extremely, matching the absolute best players in the world.
Yep.
So she should come to the event this year with a completely different kind of confidence than what she had last year. So I think Heidi, we might see another Heidi this year, also with some new discs in her bag from Clash Discs, and she seems to love them. Yeah, Heidi Leine.
Wow, we have I was just trying to check where Heidi finished in the field, and it's giving me only 2 players. It's maybe have a playoff
exciting
taking place.
Yeah,
but we won't spoil it necessarily, or I don't know when this. I guess by the time this comes out, you'll probably already know that. But anyway, so I'm not sure where Heidi's finished today, but she's definitely a great pick there, and a smart pick. I'm gonna go for. This is my second pick, right?
This is your second pick, yeah? Or yes.
So I'm gonna go with Kaidi Alsalu. It's the Estonian. She's 930 rated. Got a new sponsor, Prodigy Disc. Picked her up.
I think all those Prodigy players, at least in FPO.
Oh yeah. Rachel's Prodigy too, right? So that wasn't intentional, but I just have a good feeling about Kaidi this season. I think she's ready to have some big breakout performances, and she's got a lot of great skills. And I think the Prodigy Discs are going to suit her well. I believe she was familiar with them from before. It sounds like she has thrown them some in the past anyway. So I think she's gonna do really well here, and I'm thinking we might see her on the podium.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Kaidi, great player.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna pick the machine, the highlight machine, Silva Saarinen. We love watching her. We have seen her already a bit this year, but we're going to see her even more now in Copenhagen. You never know what you're going to get from her.
It's going to be fun, though.
It's going to be entertaining.
A ride. There's going to be some awesome highlights in there.
Yeah.
And she didn't play this event last year, but she became a staple on Disc Golf Stream's coverage right around the Helsinki event, I believe.
After that, yeah.
And then it seemed like after that we saw her at every event just putting in work and just showing incredible shots, and fierce competitor, but really calm and relaxed in the moment.
She has that skill. I talked about it in the last episode. I
just
think
moving.
She just takes shot by shot, hole after hole, and completely forgets about what happened. If she hasn't had a miss, she couldn't care less. She just goes on, and that's something
brilliant mentality for a disc golfer.
The only other player I see the same thing from is Kristin Tatar. And like that's some really champion mindset she has there.
Yeah, and she is the reigning European junior champion. So, and
might be reigning European champion after this year. Who knows?
That's a total possibility. She's just on the up and up. She's putting in great work over there in the States and getting a lot of valuable experience over there. First time touring over there and doing very well. She's had a ton of highlights already. She's put in some hot rounds. She's had some pretty good overall results. And yeah, that's a brilliant pick. And it's going to be an exciting season to see her continue her ascent to the top of the disc golf FPO field.
She's not slowing down this year so far, at least.
She's just taken off for sure. And for my final pick, I'm going to give the nod to the local Camilla Kampen.
Yeah.
We got to see her a little bit on coverage last year, and that was fun. She's a lefty. She's a really, really talented player. Right around that 900 rating mark, but I think she can play above that.
I remember one highlight from her last year. I think it was on hole 2 or 3, that long sweeping right turn that she just parked, and then you saw what kind of quality player she is.
Yep. Yeah, she's got a lot of skills, and being in the home country, I think she's gonna play real well.
But yeah, 3 picks from us each, but it's a very, very stacked field, and it feels like so much can happen. There are so many quality players that we haven't mentioned even.
Yeah, a bunch of great players. It's going to be very exciting. We got separate streams, FPO, MPO. It's a 3-day event starting on this Friday, May 5th, and then it'll be on Disc Golf Stream. Make sure you subscribe and watch those first couple days, and the final round will be free. Make sure you spread the word about that. Try to tune people into it, and then they can enjoy this kickoff to the European Pro Disc Golf season. It's going to be a ton of fun there on Disc Golf Stream for sure. We'll be here in the booth. I'm super excited. One week from today, from this moment, we'll know the results.
Yeah,
and we'll have had a fun weekend. We'll be a little tired, but really happy and looking forward to sharing all that exciting live action with you this coming weekend.
That's right. I'm getting excited. I feel that now something is happening with me, and I think the players are feeling the same thing right now. They are just about to get to Denmark and maybe head out for some practice rounds soon. Tomorrow we have a qualifier. We don't know. We don't have too much information about that right now, but we will have some players able to qualify for the event also. So it will be exciting to see who they are, and you will hear everything about that on Friday and when we are live from Copenhagen.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I'll do a quick check-in with the weather for the event. Friday plus 10 Celsius and some wind, 7 meters per second. So I think it's a little bit less than it was when I was there, but it still could be a factor, especially if it's so gusty there on the course. Saturday, even a little bit stronger, 8 meters per second, and plus 10 as well. And then Sunday, much less wind, only 5 meters per second. So we might see some more scoreable conditions on the final round.
Yeah, there might be some hot scoring on the final round. Yeah. But I think that's it for episode 22 of Inside Disc Golf. I hope you have enjoyed this warm-up for Copenhagen, and hope to see you again on Friday.
Yeah, make sure you tune in for this first event on the European Pro Tour and the kickoff of the European Disc Golf season. It's been a ton of fun talking in the booth with you here today, Viktor. It's been
likewise.
We can feel the excitement. We're really ready to get this thing going, and so we'll call that it for this episode of Inside Disc Golf. But we really look forward to seeing you really soon this coming weekend at the Copenhagen Open 2023.
Should we do our thing? This is Viktor Tågestad.
Andrew Gum here.
Signing off.
Inside Disc Golf, the European Disc Golf podcast. Everything about European Disc Golf in one podcast.